One of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they start Wegovy or Ozempic or Zepbound or Mounjaro is thinking the medication does all the work. And I get it. The appetite goes down, the cravings are quiet, you're just not that hungry anymore, so you eat whatever is easy, or you barely eat at all. And you think, great, that's the plan. But here's what's happening on the inside that nobody is telling you. You eat too little or you eat the wrong things, your body doesn't just lose fat, it starts eating your muscles too. And muscle is the engine of your metabolism. Lose muscle and everything gets harder. So, what you eat on GLP-1 medications matters. In fact, it matters a lot. Hi, I'm Dr. Bazgha Khalid. I'm a board certified internal medicine and obesity medicine specialist, and I prescribe GLP-1 medications in my clinic all the time. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what to eat, the 10 best foods, why they work, and how to put them together. Before we get to the food list, let's understand why what you eat matters. Because a lot of doctors and providers who prescribe GLP-1 medications skip this part. And then you, as a patient, wonder why you are exhausted, or your hair is falling out, or you hit a weight loss plateau 3 months in. Here's the deal. GLP-1 medications like Wegovy, Zepbound, Ozempic, and Mounjaro, they slow down your stomach. Food moves through your digestive system much more slowly than it used to. That's why you feel full faster and stay full longer. That's the mechanism of how these medications work. But because you're eating less, sometimes much less, your body has to get all the nutrients it needs from whatever goes in. Every bite counts more now. Every meal has to work harder. And here's the thing that worries me most as an obesity medicine doctor. A 2025 study from a European research team that tracked over 300 people on GLP-1 medications found that people on these medications were eating critically low amounts of protein. Critically low. And the researchers said that there's an urgent need for better nutritional guidance for people on GLP-1 medications. Why does protein matter so much? Because when you lose weight on these medications, you lose a mix of fat and muscle. The clinical trials, the big STEP trials for semaglutide and the SURMOUNT trial for tirzepatide, showed that somewhere between one third and half of the weight loss can come from lean mass or muscle, not just fat, lean mass. That's your muscle. Now, the medication doesn't directly destroy muscle, but when you're eating far less than usual and not getting enough protein in your diet, your body doesn't have the building blocks to maintain muscle. So it breaks down muscle for fuel instead. And that's a problem because muscle isn't just about looking toned. Muscle is what keeps your metabolism running. It's what keeps you strong as you age. Muscle protects your bones. It helps your blood sugar stay stable. So the goal when eating on GLP-1 medications is not just to eat less. It's to eat less of the bad things every single day. Real quick, before I get to the food list, I want to name the 3 biggest nutritional problems I see in my patients on GLP-1 medications. Because once you know these, the food choices will make more sense. Problem number 1 is not having enough protein. I just talked about this, but I want to be more specific. Most adults need somewhere between 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of their ideal body weight to protect their muscle. On a GLP-1 medications where you might only want to eat small amounts, hitting that target takes intention. You have to choose high protein foods on purpose. It doesn't happen by accident. Problem number 2, not enough fiber. One of the most common side effects of GLP-1 medications is constipation. And the reason is actually built into how the medications work. It slows your gut down. Food moves more slowly, and if you're not eating enough fiber, which most people aren't even before the medication, your digestive system just stalls. Fiber keeps things moving. It feeds the good bacteria in your gut, and it actually works hand in hand with the medication's own hunger suppressing effect. More fiber means you feel full longer, your blood sugar stays more stable, and your gut stays happy. Problem number 3 is not enough fluids. When you're not hungry, you also tend to forget to drink. And on a GLP-1 medication, dehydration hits differently. It can look like fatigue, dizziness, headaches, and it can make the nausea so much worse. Staying hydrated, water, broth, herbal teas is not optional on these medications, it's a must. Okay, now you know the 3 problems we are solving. Let's look at the 10 foods that solve these problems and make the medication work even better while we are at it. This list is in no particular order. Food number 1 is eggs. This is the one I tell every single patient I have on GLP-1 medications. Eggs. Simple, affordable, versatile. And honestly, one of the most perfect food you can eat when your appetite is small. Here's why. One large egg gives you about 6 grams of high quality protein. That means 2 eggs, which most people can manage even when nausea is a factor, gives you around 12 grams of protein. Add one more egg and you are at 18 grams of protein already. That's a meaningful start to your daily protein without a huge volume of food. Or better, you can add egg whites to add more protein. Eggs also contain all 9 essential amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. That means eggs have everything your muscle needs to repair and rebuild. The protein in eggs is what scientists call complete protein. Your body can use almost all of it. It is very efficient, and eggs are rich in something called choline. Choline is a nutrient that supports your brain, your liver, and your cell membranes. Most people don't get nearly enough of choline, and whenever you're eating less food overall, you need to make every bite counts for nutrients, and eggs do that. Now, some people worry about eggs and cholesterol. Here's the current scientific consensus. For most healthy people, eating eggs in moderation does not significantly raise the risk for heart disease. The evidence has shifted a lot on this in last decade. Eggs are back. Don't be afraid of them. The easiest way to eat eggs on GLP-1 medications could be scrambled soft, easy on the stomach, or boiled and kept in the fridge for a grab-and-go snack, or poached eggs on a slice of whole grain toast, or simple egg muffin. Beat 2 eggs with whatever vegetables you have, pour into a muffin tin, bake for 15 minutes, done. Portable and protein packed. Food number 2 is Greek yogurt. This one does double duty. Not regular yogurt, Greek yogurt specifically. The thick kind, and here's why the difference matters. Regular yogurt is strained once. Greek yogurt is strained multiple times, and what you're left with is something much higher in protein and much lower in sugar than regular yogurt. A 170 grams of plain full-fat Greek yogurt have around 18 grams of protein. That's serious protein in a very small amount, perfect for someone who can't eat large portions. And here's the second reason I love Greek yogurt for GLP-1 users. Greek yogurt contains live cultures, probiotics, good bacteria for your gut, and when your digestive system is slowing down because of the GLP-1 medications, keeping your gut microbiome healthy is really important. These probiotics can help with the bloating, constipation, and the general digestive weirdness that some people experience on GLP-1 medications. The key word is plain, not flavored, not vanilla, not the one with strawberry swirl. These versions have added sugar that will cause your blood sugar to spike and then crash, which is exactly what we're trying to avoid on GLP-1 medications. If plain Greek yogurt tastes too sour for you, add a small handful of fresh or frozen blueberries. Blueberries are naturally sweet, high in fiber, and we are going to talk about berries in just a minute anyway. Other easy ways to use Greek yogurt is to stir it into smoothies for a protein boost, use it instead of sour cream, or mix it with a little garlic and lemon as a dip for vegetables. Greek yogurt is incredibly versatile. Best food number 3 is salmon and oily fish. This one has some really interesting science behind it, specifically for people on GLP-1 medications. Salmon and oily fish in general, like mackerel, sardines, trout, herring. Salmon is a protein powerhouse. 100-gram salmon gives you around 25 grams of protein. That's an entire meal worth of protein in one piece of fish. But here's what makes salmon specifically interesting for GLP-1 medication users. The omega-3 fatty acids. The omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, are powerful anti-inflammatory fats. And here's what science gets really cool. Omega-3 fatty acids have been shown in research to actually stimulate your body to produce more of its own GLP-1 hormone naturally. Your gut has cells called L cells, and these cells respond to certain foods by releasing GLP-1. Omega-3 are one of the strongest natural triggers for these cells. So when you eat salmon, you're not just getting protein, you're supporting the same hormonal pathway that your medication is working through. You're reinforcing the GLP-1 medication effect with your food. How amazing is that? Omega-3 also reduce inflammation, which is almost always elevated in people carrying extra weight. Omega-3 also support heart health, protect your brain, and they may also help reduce joint pain. Now, I know salmon can be expensive, but sardines are one of the most affordable, nutrient-dense food on the planet. A tin of sardines has around 20 grams of protein and a full day's worth of omega-3 fatty acids. Eat them on whole grain crackers with a squeeze of lemon. Job done. Cheap, fast, and powerful. Aim for oily fish 2 to 3 times a week if you can. Your body and your GLP-1 pathway will thank you. Best food number 4, chicken breast and lean meat. This one is probably already in your fridge or freezer. Chicken breast and other lean proteins like turkey, lean beef, lamb. I know, not glamorous, but here's why it matters so much on GLP-1 medications. Chicken breast is one of the highest protein per calorie food that exists. A 100-gram serving of cooked chicken breast will give you around 30 grams of protein with very little fat. When you can only eat small portions on GLP-1 medications, that ratio is everything. You need maximum protein in minimum volume. And remember, goal is to protect your muscles. Muscle loss on GLP-1 medications is real. It is documented in clinical trials, but research also shows clearly that higher protein intake significantly reduces that muscle loss. You cannot outrun bad nutrition on GLP-1 medications. The protein has to come from somewhere. One of my favorite easy meals for protein on GLP-1 medications is chicken stir fry with vegetables. I shared a recipe for that in this video. Remember, protein first, every meal. That's the rule. Best food number 5 is oats. This is comfort food of the list, and this is a little controversial too. Oats, I know, carbohydrates, but hear me out. Oats are one of the best carbohydrate sources you can have on GLP-1 medications, and here's why. Oats contain a specific type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. Beta-glucan dissolves in water and forms a thick gel in your digestive system. That gel slows down how quickly glucose from your food enters into your bloodstream. So instead of a sharp blood sugar spike followed by a crash, which makes you hungry and irritable, with beta-glucan in oats, you get a slow, steady release of energy, much more stable. And here's the GLP-1 connection. Beta-glucan specifically has been shown to stimulate your gut's L cells, the ones that I mentioned with salmon, to release more of your natural GLP-1 hormone. So the fiber in oats actively supports the same pathway your medication is working on. It's synergy. Oats are also great for constipation, which, as I discussed, is a real issue on these medications. The soluble fiber adds bulk and keeps your gut moving. Now, portion size matters because the medications slow your stomach. A big bowl of porridge can feel like too much. Start with a small portion. Maybe around half a cup of dry oats, cook it with water or milk, top it with a spoon of Greek yogurt and small handful of berries. Now you've got fiber, protein, and antioxidants all in one bowl. This is genuinely one of the most powerful breakfasts you can have on GLP-1 medications, and it costs almost nothing. Now, not everyone tolerates and digests the oats the same, so portion control is really key. Food number 6 is berries. This one most people love. Berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. These are tiny little nutritional powerhouses, and they're especially brilliant for GLP-1 users for a few specific reasons. First is berries are low in sugar compared to most other fruits. When you are on GLP-1 medications, your body is working on better blood sugar control. The sugar content of your food matters. Berries are naturally low in sugar compared to something like grapes or mangoes or other dried fruits. So with berries, you get sweetness without the blood sugar spike. Second, fiber. Berries are absolutely packed with fiber. And remember, fiber is one of our 3 big priorities. A cup of raspberries has around 8 grams of fiber. That's almost 1/3 of your daily target in one small serving. Also, berries are loaded with something called polyphenols. These are plant compounds, specifically anthocyanins, which give berries their deep blue and red color. And research shows that polyphenols have a direct positive effect on your gut microbiome. They feed the good bacteria, and healthier gut microbiome has been linked to better metabolic health, less inflammation, and here's the exciting part, potentially better response to GLP-1 medications itself. Your gut bacteria and your GLP-1 medication pathways are connected. Feeding one helps the other one. Frozen berries work just as well as fresh, and they're much cheaper. Keep a bag in the freezer at all times. What is your favorite berry? Let me know in the comments, and let me also know how you like eating your berries. Food number 7 is cooked vegetables. I want to be specific about something here because this surprises people. Cooked vegetables, not raw. But before you panic, raw vegetables are not bad for you. They're great, but here's the issue specific to GLP-1 medication users. The medication slows your stomach down significantly. Raw vegetables, think raw broccoli, raw cabbage, raw cauliflower, big raw salads are high in insoluble fiber. That's quite tough and hard to digest. When your stomach is already moving slowly, putting a load of raw, fibrous vegetables in there can cause a lot of bloating, gas, and discomfort, possibly even pain. Cooking your vegetables breaks down some of the tough fiber. It makes them much easier to digest, and you still get the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the fiber, but your stomach does not have to work as hard to process them. So what vegetables are we talking about? Broccoli or zucchini, spinach, kale, sweet potato, butternut squash, cauliflower, steamed or roasted, asparagus, green beans, peas. These all vegetables are nutritionally brilliant. They give you vitamin C and vitamin K, folic acid, potassium, magnesium, all things your body needs more of when you are eating less overall. And many of them, especially leafy greens, contain natural nitrates that support blood vessel health and can actually improve your blood flow and your energy levels. The easiest approach, roast a big tray of mixed vegetables on a Sunday, a drizzle of olive oil, a pinch of salt and pepper, roast at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes, cool and keep them in the fridge, and add them to meals all week long. Lowest effort, highest return. If raw salads are something you love and tolerate well, that's fine, keep going. But if you are experiencing bloating or gut discomfort, switching to cooked vegetables can help solve that. Food number 8, legumes like beans and lentils. Let's be enthusiastic about the double win here, protein and fiber. Legumes, beans and lentils. Here's why legumes are genuinely magical for people on GLP-1 medications. They are one of the only foods on earth that are high in both protein and fiber at the same time. Everything else on this list is either high in protein like chicken, eggs, or salmon, or high in fiber like oats, berries, and vegetables. Legumes give you both protein and fiber in one food. A cup of cooked lentils has around 18 grams of protein and 16 grams of fiber. That is extraordinary. A cup of black beans has around 15 grams of protein and 15 grams of fiber. These numbers are genuinely impressive. And the fiber in legumes is mostly soluble fiber, the same type as oats, which means it feeds the good bacteria in your gut, helps stabilize your blood sugar, reduces cholesterol, and supports that all-important GLP-1 pathway I keep talking about. There's also really interesting research showing that legumes specifically reduce insulin resistance over time. People who eat beans and lentils regularly have been shown to have better blood sugar control and lower body weight compared to people who don't, even when overall calorie intake is the same. Now, some people get bloated from beans. This is real. The fix: start with smaller amounts. Rinse tinned beans very well before eating. Cooked lentils tend to be gentler than large beans like kidney beans. And cook them until they're very soft. Again, because soft foods are easier on the slowed down GLP-1 stomach. Easy ways to use legumes, beans, and lentils are: add a tin of lentils to vegetable soup, stir black beans into scrambled eggs with some cumin and salsa, blend white beans into a smooth dip. These are easy additions to any meal that massively boost your nutrition without adding much volume. Food number 9 is avocado. This one is all about healthy fat. Avocado. Now, avocado is quite high in calories compared to the other foods on this list. But when you are on GLP-1 medications and eating very small amounts, calorie density actually works in your favor. You need concentrated nutrition and small volume. Avocado delivers that. Half an avocado gives you around 15 grams of healthy fats, mostly monounsaturated fat, which is the same type of fat found in olive oil. This fat is protective for your heart. It reduces LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. It reduces inflammation and it helps your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins from other vegetables you're eating. Vitamin A, vitamin D, E, and K all need fat to be absorbed properly. Avocado is also rich in potassium. It actually has more potassium than a banana, and potassium is crucial on GLP-1 medications. Why? Because you are eating less and potentially losing weight quickly. Electrolyte balance can get disrupted. Low potassium can cause fatigue, muscle cramps, and heart palpitations. Avocado helps those levels up. And fiber. Again, half an avocado has around 5 grams of fiber. Almost every food choice on this list is contributing to that daily fiber target. The easiest way to use avocado on a GLP-1 medication is mash it on one slice of whole grain toast, add an egg on top, and you've got yourself a protein and fat powerhouse. Or slice an avocado alongside your fish or chicken. Add a few chunks of avocado to a smoothie for creaminess without sugar, or just eat it straight with a little salt and lemon juice. Food number 10 is bone broth and soups. This one is just not food, it's a strategy. Bone broth and soups. Here's the thing, when nausea is at its worst, usually in the first few weeks of a new dose of GLP-1 medications, eating solid foods can genuinely become difficult. Things that are warm, liquid, and easy to sip are often all that is manageable. Bone broth is brilliant for that phase. Real bone broth, simmered for hours from actual bones. Contains collagen protein, gelatin, and key minerals, including sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. When you're not eating much and your electrolytes need support, bone broth is gentle medicine. Collagen is also worth talking about. Collagen is the protein that makes up your connective tissue, your joints, your tendons, your ligaments, and your skin. When you lose weight quickly, skin elasticity can suffer. Collagen supports that elasticity. It also supports joint health. And then soups in general, a blended vegetable lentil soup is one of the most comforting GLP-1 friendly meal you can eat. You get fiber from the vegetables, protein from the lentils, easy to digest because it's blended, warm and soothing. You can make a big pot on Sunday and eat it for 2 to 3 days. All right, this was a list of 10 best foods to eat on GLP-1 medications. This is no way a complete list, as all whole foods have tremendous benefits. It's all about prioritizing the ones that work for your health needs. The golden rule that ties all of this together, protein first, every time you sit down to eat, start with the protein, then the fiber and the vegetables, then if there is room, the carbohydrates. This simple habit ensures your most important nutritional needs get met before the GLP-1 fullness kicks in. If you are on a GLP-1 medication or you're thinking about starting one, I want you to hear this. GLP-1 medications is a real tool, a powerful one. It addresses biology that was working against you, that constant hunger, the food noise, the blood sugar roller coaster, the metabolic resistance. It changes the game, but it works best when you work with it. Food is not the enemy. Food is not something to fear or avoid. Food is actually one of the most powerful things you can do to maximize what this medication is giving you. The right foods protect your muscles, support your gut, stabilize your blood sugar, help reduce your side effects, and help your body do what the medication is asking it to do. And here's the beautiful thing about the 10 foods I talked about today. Most of them are simple. Most of them are affordable. None of them requires you to become a chef. Eggs, Greek yogurt, salmon, chicken, oats, berries, cooked vegetables, beans, avocado, broth. You don't need to get this perfect from day one. You don't need to eat them all in one day to get the benefits. Start with one change. Maybe it's starting every meal with protein. Maybe it's swapping flavored yogurt for plain. Maybe it's keeping a bag of frozen berries in your freezer. One change becomes two. Two becomes a habit. And those habits are what carry you past the medication and into a healthier life. That's the goal. Not just to lose weight, to be healthy, to be strong, to have energy, to feel like yourself again, maybe even better than before. You've got this. I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments which of these 10 foods are you already eating and which one surprised you the most. I genuinely love reading your comments, and sometimes your questions and comments become my next video topic. If this video helped you, please hit the like button. It takes 1 second, but it helps this video reach more people who are on this same journey and need this information. And if you know someone who just started Wegovy or Zepbound or Ozempic, send them this video. It might make a real difference to how they feel and how their results turn out. Subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every week on weight loss, metabolic health, hormones, and everything in between. Stay healthy, happy, and well. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.